It's been a busy week for the Thunder organization as they welcome two new guys into the fold. We'll introduce you to both Ronnie Brewer and Derek Fisher. We'll tell you what Kendrick Perkins has been doing to help underprivileged youth.
Peer pressure is hard once you get out of this area. You're a grown man, so just make sure you do what's right for yourself and just make sure you make your own decisions and try to keep going in a positive way.
And what happens when mascots take over.
We're glad to see you here, though, all of you mascots. It's so great, and he has my money.
It's coming your way starting right now on Thunder Insider. Welcome to another week of Thunder Insider. I'm Leslie McCaslin, joined by our Thunder voice on the radio, Matt Pinto, and our analyst, Grant Long. As always, we had a successful week here for the Thunder. They come back from the All-Star break, regroup. They wanted to find defensive consistency, and they did exactly that. 3 wins over Minnesota, Chicago, and then a huge one over New Orleans by 45 points, matching the largest margin of victory they've seen all year. This team seemed to get better as the week went on. Matt, let's start with you. What'd you see?
Second half of the Minnesota game, Leslie, they really began to tighten the screws defensively, and they've been unrelenting in that regard since, limiting Chicago on Sunday to 29% field goal shooting, only 72 points, and then against New Orleans, another lights-out performance, 35% field goal accuracy allowed to the Hornets, and only 74 points. And Grant, the thing I like is that they've played really good defense on the initial shot all season. Now they're clearing the glass with ferocity, dominating the boards the last 2 wins.
Well, I think Durant has a lot to do with that. He's coming back to help the bigs out on the glass. But I also think that in a long 82-game season, you're going to have stretches. I don't care how good you are. You're going to have stretches where those fundamental disciplines seem to just, go away at some point. And I think it was good at the time that this team had those fundamental disciplines go away. They had an opportunity to get to the practice floor. Scott Brooks really called for his team to get back to the fundamentals, boxing out, playing pressure defense on the point of attack, on the ball. And I think when we saw that, we saw this team turn a corner with defense.
And March comes in like a lion, Leslie, in terms of the competition, and this team, I think, is preparing itself for exactly that.
Yeah, they've hit their stride right at a time when they need it, with just 25 games left in the regular season. I think they also got a spark, though, from their 2 new additions that we saw on the floor against New Orleans for the first time. Of course, earlier this week, they signed forward Ronnie Brewer from New York and reacquired point guard Derek Fisher, who was also a late add to the team last year. Brewer is a 7-year veteran and Arkansas native who will be playing a little bit closer to home. Fisher playing close to home as well, from Arkansas, and a 5-time champ who played in 20 regular season games and the postseason for the Thunder last year. Here's more from these 2 guys on what they hope to bring to the team.
When I got the news coming here, I was very excited.
Whatever role or whatever opportunities, Scotty and the team see for me in terms of being helpful, then that's what I'm willing to play.
Just to help out as much as I possibly can. I'm trying to play as hard as I possibly can, night in, night out. Whatever coach and the players ask of me and expect of me, I'm going to try to fulfill that to my best of my ability. So, they tell me to, die for every loose ball. I'm going to try to do that to the best of my ability. So whatever they need, I'm going to try to do it.
Essentially, since the first of the year, I've been training hard and pushing hard. Obviously, playing basketball, you can't, NBA basketball in particular, you can't practice that per se. There isn't anything that can prepare you for playing in the game.
Whenever I can get in, I don't want to have there be a drop in, energy and lack of production. So I'm just going to go out there and play as hard as I can on both ends of the floor and hopefully make positive things happen out there.
My tank is much more full showing up this year than it was last year. And so I plan on being more impactful and more effective than I was for the team last year.
Well, guys, we'll talk about Derek Fisher later on in the show, but let's start with Ronnie Brewer, a guy who averages just 8 points for his career, but he is a defensive specialist, and already he's saying things like, I'll dive for a loose ball, I'll give 110%. Seems like he will be an easy fit here in OKC.
The Tom Thibodeau, who coached him for a couple of years in Chicago, was asked on Sunday before the game against the Thunder, what did the Thunder get in Ronnie Brewer? He said 3 things. They get a smart player, they get toughness, they get a team-oriented guy. Grant, that fits in exactly what the Thunder are all about.
Well, when you understand what Sam Presti's all about, you understand he's not going to go out and get anybody that's not going to fit with this organization and what they're all about. And Ronnie Brewer, I don't think you're going to find anybody on the face of the earth that will say anything negative about him. In my conversations with him, I found him to be very cerebral when you talk about basketball. He understands his role, where he can be effective. And I think also when you talk about a guy that's that has the ability to play multiple positions on the floor, both offensively and defensively, I think he certainly fits right in with what's going on here. Scott Brooks sometimes will go with that smaller lineup. I think he can fit right in and play either the 2, 3, or 4 and let Kevin Durant have a spell of rest on the bench. But whatever role he's used, I think he's going to excel in it.
Exactly, and he has a lot of versatility, and the Thunder believe both of these guys will be able to contribute to the team in different areas. Ronnie as that defensive specialist, Derek Fisher adds valuable leadership and, of course, depth at point guard. Here's more from head coach Scott Brooks and some of the Thunder players on their new teammates.
It's a great pickup. Great guy off the court. Go come in, go play his role. Don't have to worry about him trying to do anything extra, so it's a good pickup.
Toughness, he's a tough competitor. He's the spirit of the game is at a high level. He's always been a team guy. He's been with some great organizations, some great coaching, and
he grew up in great systems and learned how to play the game the right way. He's a great slasher, and defensively, I think Kevin harped on it, and I put him in top 5 defensive players I'd never like to see on a nightly basis, but he's going to be a great addition to our team.
Ronnie, it feels like he's been here for the whole year, so that's the best part about it. They fit in so well, and they're looking forward to doing whatever Coach needs them to do. And they don't have any egos. They're humble guys, and they just want to play. So it's a blessing to have them on our team.
He's a blend-in type of guy. He's not a guy that's going to demand the ball. He's not a guy that has a strong personality. He's an easygoing guy that loves to compete, and from what I gather, he's always been one of the guys that you can count on being a great teammate and a guy that's always committed to doing the team thing and the right thing.
Ahead on Thunder Insider.
I noticed you're wearing the number 8. Any specific reason why you picked that number?
It's my first time wearing number 8, and hopefully, it brings me a lot of success.
I'm Nick Collison, and you're watching Thunder Insider.
Welcome back to Thunder Insider as we continue to talk about the new additions to this Thunder team this week. Derek Fisher, who we've already said brings leadership, depth at point guard. He can do a lot of good things because this is his 17th season in the NBA. But both of you got to see him play with the team last year. What does he bring to the organization?
Well, he wears his intentions right on his uniform. 6. Number 6. He wants title number 6.
That.
I love that. I really do. Last season it was 37 because he's 37 years of age. He wanted to remind people, I'm 37, but I can still play. Grant, I love the intangibles he brings. And last night, or the last game that they played against New Orleans, he's communicating verbally and passionately like nobody else. And I think that's something that always ties a team together. It helps at both ends of the floor.
Well, I think you'd be a fool not to tap into that experience. Over 140 playoff games that this guy has played in. So he understands pressure situations. He understands when to shoot, when to pass, and when to just essentially just play solid defense. But I'm going to also say, when you bring in guys, we talked about Brewer earlier, but when you bring in 2 guys at this point in the season, you have to understand what kind of teammates that you have in order to absorb 2 players coming in. This is not window dressing. These guys are going to play, so you have to have a team that's willing to make the ultimate sacrifice for players. That's giving up a lot of playing time, and Scott Brooks certainly understands that.
And he is the embodiment of it's not how many, but when in terms of making shots. He will not cower or step away from the spotlight with the game in the balance.
Well, their addition came at a great time because it kind of breathed new life, it seemed like, in this team against New Orleans, but something they were already starting to put together because just being at home seems like it was good for this team. We've saw them improve defensively game after game. That one against Chicago, though, really sticks out, holding them to just 29% shooting from the field. Why all of a sudden have they kind of pieced things together again?
I think it comes down to rebounding, Leslie. When this team rebounds, because they're really good on the initial shot an opponent takes, when they nap and don't get a body on the opposition to go to get that missed shot, or they allow interior position to rebounders, Grant, because they think they can jump over people, they can allow second and third opportunities. But when they're not doing that, this team's been top 3 in defensive field goal percentage all season long.
You're essentially saying when you get back to the fundamentals, you mentioned boxing out, you have to get there and box out your opponent. It's not a jumping contest, it's a fundamental contest. You have to put your body in between the opponent and the basket to secure the rebound or make them go over your back. But I also think that the other thing that's happening is that they're putting it all together. Sometimes we see a lot of ball pressure out on the perimeter, then we don't see the defense on the inside. We see the great defense in the paint, and then we don't see the perimeter defense. They're putting it all together here in a very short amount of time, and I think that's why they're seeing some success as well.
And again, it's a good time because we're just a month and a half away from the end of the regular season, and things are changing for this team with those two new faces on the roster. There's still a lot of work to be done, but many are familiar with Derek Fisher, what he's about, but what is Ronnie Brewer all about? What drives him? Grant Long went one-on-one with a former Knicks forward to find out what he's like on and off the court.
I noticed you're wearing the number 8. Any specific reason why you picked that number?
Well, my whole life I wore number 10, and the teams I've been on, I guess number 10 is a positive, pretty popular number, and it's been retired, so I couldn't get number 10. I wore 11 in Chicago and New York. Jay Lamb had that, so I wanted to try to change it to a different number. I wore 9 originally in Utah because 10 was retired, and Serge got that, so my next thing was going with number 8. So it's my first time wearing number 8, and hopefully, it brings me a lot of success.
What inspired you to pick up a basketball? Who's been your inspiration throughout your basketball career?
Honestly, growing up, I'm the youngest of 5 kids. 2 older brothers, 2 older sisters, and they played basketball because they knew my dad played basketball and professionally at the University of Arkansas. So, when I started watching them, and I was kind of the odd man left out. It made me want to learn as much as I possibly could, and once I got a little old enough to understand the concepts of it, it made me want to, just try to, work on those where I can be a little bit better. Going against my brothers and sisters gave me the passion and the competitiveness to, work at, being a better basketball player.
I guess at this level, it'd be safe to say that you probably are better than your brothers and your sisters at this point. Am I correct?
For sure. Around 10th grade, I hit a growth spurt, so I went from, being a 5'9" skinny kid to, a 6'7" guy who, started to fill out a little bit. So, once I hit that growth spurt, I was able to start beating my brothers and my sisters on a regular basis. So
now you're here in Oklahoma City. That makes you a little bit closer to where you grew up. So a lot of your friends and family will be coming to the games?
Yeah. Fayetteville, Arkansas is not that far from here. I have an uncle who coaches local high school here at Southeast High School, and he's every time we come to Oklahoma City, he supported me and kind of give me a home away from home, and it's a short flight or a short drive for my mom and dad and my friends and family to come and support the Thunder.
Ahead on Thunder Insider.
Come and talk to a group of great young men that's been put in a situation that unfortunately it wasn't their fault. I just wanted to make them know that they are important in this world and that the sky's the limit.
You're watching Thunder Insider.
Welcome back to the studios of The Oklahoman and NewsOK.com. Well, here in the Thunder organization, there has been a highly competitive contest in the works for the last month. 500 students from around Oklahoma submitted poems, videos, artwork, or crafts honoring heroes or their personal heroes in honor of Black History Month. The Thunder announced 5 grand prize winners just this week.
This year we had just about 500 entries, and they literally came from the entire state.
I decided to write about Barack Obama. Basically, in my essay, I just tell about his accomplishments and something that was never done before.
The Underground Railway is a big interest of mine, and I knew I wanted to tie that in with it. I wanted to really grasp the past, the present, and then the future of our 2 races and all races.
I'm really proud of her. Carissa has an eye for photography and a real love for showing people and their nature and their character.
I wrote about Rosa Parks, Sojourner Truth, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King Jr. I love playing the organ because it just gives me breath and it gives me some talent and I get happy.
I'm excited. I feel blessed. He have an extremely God-given talent.
Well, I walked in the house and my grandpa was like, "Bobby, I have a surprise for you," and he told me. I jumped up and down.
I was so surprised. I jumped up and down. I was just, I just can't explain it. I was really, really happy. I just said, "Thank you, Lord," and passed out on the ground.
I was folding laundry, and my mom just came in, and I started screaming, and I was very excited.
It's encouraging. I'm so confident in myself that I really made it this far. Like, it's an opportunity to be here, and other kids don't get to be here.
She is proud of herself. She knows she's got a gift. She knows that she's going places in life, and so to get it started at Two Lakes Elementary and to get the encouragement and things like this, her being a recipient of this Thunder Prize, I think is just only the beginning for her.
It makes me extremely proud to know the wide reach that this contest has and the participation within this community.
The winners got to attend Wednesday's home game against the Hornets, where they were recognized on the court before the game. They also got a trophy, an autographed jersey, and they each went home with a Sprite prize pack. Well, as a part of one of the many Thunder Cares player appearances, Kendrick Perkins, as well as Jeremy Lamb, Perry Jones, and Daniel Orton made a special visit to Whitefield's boys' home. The trip struck a chord with Perkins especially because it reminded him of his life experiences. Here's more.
Whitefields is a place for kids to call home. All of our boys have been physically, emotionally, sexually abused. What we try to do is give them a family because we know that at the end of the years that they're with us, if they have their own family, they're going to be able to have a very, very good chance to succeed.
It's always a pleasure, man, but you know, this is a different situation. You come and talk to a group of great young men that's been put in a situation that unfortunately it wasn't their fault. You know, I just want to make them know that they are important in this world and that the sky's the limit. Oh, get out of there, Dio. Get out of there, Dio.
Tyran is the first one of our kids. He's been with us for 6 years, you know, with the help of the staff and his own hard work. He's been able to make it through with a 3.8 GPA in school.
As I've been here, you know, they just pushed me harder and harder, and I really felt like I've just made, you know, leaps and bounds. You know, they've really helped me just as a person, as a man.
It puts in perspective that the work we're doing here, it's working, and I'm just excited for the future for him and for the example that he's putting forth to the rest of our boys.
It was awesome. Just to see guys who've made it, definitely on Perkins, for him to, you know, have grown up in a situation, you know, like ours, and then, you know, come back and put time into it, it's just awesome.
I see a lot of smiles, and they have a lot of great people working with them, and I'm glad I came out today just to be able to brighten up their day.
Kendrick Perkins went on to buy tickets for every single boy at Whitefields for the Sunday night game against Chicago. They were able to come enjoy a great seat and cheer on the Thunder as they handedly beat the Bulls at home for their second win in a row.
Ahead on Thunder Insider.
We had close to 300 people out here at the Thunder Event Center for our very first fundraiser for the Thunder Cares Foundation. We did a breakfast with Rumble and friends.
Thunder fans, don't forget to take part in our Watch and Win contest brought to you by your Oklahoma Chevy team dealers. Not only do you have a chance to win tickets to an upcoming home game, just visit thunder.nba.com and enter the code 9997 or text the code to 68278 for your chance to win. Well, who doesn't love mascots? They're big, friendly, and funny. Even when they take over your set, dump out the contents of your purse, and try to disrupt your pregame show on Fox Sports Oklahoma. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, you need to check it out on the Thunder's YouTube channel. Just type in Mascots Invade Set. Other than that, they're great. And mascots from all over the NBA made a special visit to OKC this week to celebrate Rumble's birthday and to help give back to the Thunder Cares Foundation. It was a birthday bonanza that ended with a breakfast celebration.
All right, Thunder fans, tonight is Mascot Mania. We've got some awesome NBA mascots in town. We've got Clutch, we've got the Coyote, we've got Rocky, we've got Champ.
I had seen on Facebook and Twitter that they were going to be doing a photo shoot at 6:15. So when my husband said we were coming to the game, I'm like, we've got to get in line because she has been wanting to meet Rumble since we've been coming to Thunder games.
Yeah, she loves him. She's known about him since she was a baby. It's just a neat thing for little kids to get to do. It's one thing to see him out on the court running around, but to actually get to come and stand next to him and meet him and be next to him is pretty neat for him.
We also got some fun, exciting things planned.
Why are you letting them do this to us?
Sabotage.
Well, as Grant is trying to work, my purse has been displayed. You're not going to find much in there, all over the desk, and we've given everyone a good show. We're glad to see you here, though, all of you mascots. It's so great, and he has my money, so I think we should take a break now.
The Thunder Community Foundation is doing a fundraiser selling I Heart Rumble t-shirts for Mascot Mania, and they're going to be throwing some of these out in the first quarter for free. Rumble and his buddies are going to end up doing a little dunk exhibition for everybody. At halftime, the Thunder Girls have challenged our NBA mascots to a dance-off, which is going to be super exciting. Our favorite air characters in the NBA are going to be coming out, and all sorts of other craziness will be going on for Rumble. Rumble, Clutch, what do you guys...
When I say go, you say Thunder go! Go!
We had close to 300 people out here at the Thunder Events Center for our very first fundraiser for the Thunder Cares Foundation. We did a breakfast with Rumble and friends. We had 6 or 7 other mascots, all friends of Rumble, and they helped us out with a great time this morning at breakfast.
Oh my goodness! Give me a high five.
This is the very first time that we've sort of unveiled the Thunder Cares Foundation in a very public way. We've been around for 5 seasons now. We've done some great things, some great community projects, and we just thought it was time to sort of unveil that in a more public manner and raise some money.
Oh no!
I thought it was fantastic. I was watching people all morning long, just their reactions and their engagement. The kids, obviously, it was catered to be more of a kid event, but we had lots of kids at heart who were here as well, and they just had a fantastic time.
You have to love Rumble and his buddies even when they're up to no good. Well, that's all the time we have for this week, but join us on the road as we head to Denver and LA. Just follow your favorite team on thunder.nba.com and right here on Fox Sports Oklahoma. We'll see you next week.